why do we have law of cosines? Well, you can't always use law of sines. Remember, law of sines, you have to have an angle and opposite side. What if I just gave you all sides? Okay, so we have to have some other tools to solve these triangles. That is law of cosines. Law of cosines, I have a love-hate with it. Sometimes it's a little more time-consuming than law of sines, but it's just a lot of calculator work for the record. So let's look at the formulas for a second. Couple reminders as always. Remember, lowercase letters are the sides. Uppercase capital letters are the angles. So you will be provided on the formula sheet, just for the record, these three equations. Okay? These, I don't care if you use them. Here's the pros and cons. I don't care if you use them. Like if you need to solve for an angle, I'm not gonna lie, it is easier to use these alternative forms where all they did was go through and they solved for cos A. They subtracted, they divided. That's what they did. But I'm not gonna use those alternative ones today. I like them, but I'm not gonna use them because I'm just gonna flash forward here a second. Here's the copy of the formula sheet you'll get for the mini test. You only get the standard versions, the ones on the left side. So I'm not going to use the alternative ones today just because I know you don't get those on the test. We're going to use this Huron's area formula today too. So just remember, you know this, lowercase sides, uppercase letters. And again, I'm using this when you do not have an angle on opposite side. You cannot start with law of sines. Now, nice thing is, there is no ambiguous case. There's no two triangles or anything weirdo to worry about on law of cosine, okay? First is always, you know, I like a picture, so I'm gonna draw myself a triangle here. All right, little a, so side A across from angle A. I'm just gonna label across from angle B. You know the drill, across from angle C. So they gave you all three sides, we need all three angles. Now, the only little twist here you gotta be careful of. Like I said, there's no weirdo two triangles or anything like that to worry about, but here's a pro tip for you, and I'm gonna talk about why in a second. I always make sure I work in the order biggest to smallest. And we'll talk about why here in a sec. So the reason I work biggest to smallest, that ensures that your triangle is what we call in geometry proportional. Meaning, across from the smallest angle is the smallest side. Across from the biggest angle is the biggest side. Across from the medium angle, medium side. If you don't work in that specific order, and I've seen it happen, you can get your triangle not being in the correct proportion, and then you have to go through and recalculate. Well, nobody wants to do extra work, right? So if you just always work in that order, biggest to smallest, you won't have to worry about it, okay? So, biggest, right there. So there's my biggest side is the 19, so I'm gonna find angle B first. So, this is gonna be on your formula sheet. I need angle B, so I'm gonna use this formula right here. So I'm just gonna plug in the numbers and let's take a look at it. So I'm gonna have little b squared equals little a squared plus little c squared minus 2 times a times c times the cos of angle B, which is what we're trying to solve for. Okay, definitely need a calculator on this one. So let's start with, what's 19 squared? Got it. Now, next talk we have to have. Can you combine 8 squared plus 14 squared minus 2 times 8 times 14? Can you put all of those numbers together? No, because you do not have like terms, meaning this has a cos B, no cos B, no cos B. So be careful about like terms. We can put those together. They're just numbers. So put that in your calculator. What's 8 squared plus 14 squared? Got it. Okay, then let's put this in our calculator. What's 2 times 8 times 14? 224, you got it. And remember, we're solving for B. Okay, all right. So I'm trying to get B by itself. So next, I'm going to get rid of 260. Again, can't put this together, not like terms. One has a cos, one doesn't. I'm going to subtract the 260 off. So of course, 361 minus 260, 101. And really from here, hopefully we can take it to our calculator. But you know I live for work, so I'm going to keep writing. So again, trying to get cos to be alone, I'm going to get rid of negative 224. We're going to divide that. So of course that's going to be some yucko decimal. Now, to get angle B alone, what cancels out cosine? Are you hitting cos on your calculator or cos inverse? Cos inverse. So we're going to do second cos, or whatever that rando decimal is. You punch it in. I rounded to the whole unit. Doesn't say what to round to, so surprise me. So Abigail got 117. I got 117. If I need to punch it in, I'm happy to do it. Okay. So, okay, E equals 117. Now, choices, kids. We've got choices. Clearly, I didn't draw the triangle to scale. Who knew that was going to be obtuse? Whatevs, right? Now, choices. You could do law of cosines for angle C and A. I can't tell you that I have the room on my paper or I want to do all of that for all of that. I really don't. Let's be smart here. If you have an angle and opposite side, can I use law of sines like the past 2 days, which is way less work, and I'm all about less work, so that's what I'm going to roll with. So I'm going to do sine of 117 over 19. If you love law of cosines, do it. And just to make sure my triangle stays in proportion, okay, I'm working biggest to smallest, so next big is, okay, 14, so I'm going to do C. So I'm going to do sine C over 14. Now, I know a lot of you are great on the calculator at this point. You're just straight typing that in. If you need me to do work, I will. Let me give you a second to punch it in. I rounded everything on this one to the whole unit. And we got, anybody brave enough to see it? 41. 41. Everybody's nodding yes. I like it. Perfect. Okay, no work needed, right? You got C, you've got B. Clearly, they all have to total up to 180. Okay, just do it. What's A? 22. So again, remember, there's choices on how to do these problems. You could have done law of cosines to find the second angle if you love it. Personally, I think law of sines is quick. Okay. All right, let's do one more of these. Oh, this triangle I'll actually draw to scale because I know it's obtuse there. Okay. Not that really matters in the grand scheme of it, right? Okay, so 115. I'm going to label accordingly, little b and little c. Okay. So again, the first thing you have to figure out, which equation, what are you solving for, okay? Obviously, I can't use law of sines because I have the angle, I don't have the opposite side. So here's the thing, you know what? Let's find that opposite side. If I can get side A, then my life's easy peasy and I can use law of sines. So, I'm going to use the top equation. I want to solve for little a, so I'm going to use the a squared form. So little a squared, little b squared, plus little c squared, minus 2 times b times c times the cos of our angle A, which is 115. Now, it's actually a little easier when you have to solve for a side, because I can do this in one step in the calculator, because I know I'm going to get rid of the squaring with a root. So put the root on right away. So type in the square root and just start typing all of that in. And I don't know, I rounded everything to the whole unit on this today. Surprises me. I like some of you are holding up the number with what you got. Answer is 21. Good. Okay, so now, of course, remember, we give you one piece, you need the other 3. So I got one answer, I need 2 more. So again, I would use law of sines. It's going to be easier. Sine of 115 over its opposite side. We just got that 21. Now again, it's just ingrained in me to work biggest to smallest, so my triangle stays proportional. So I'm like, okay, biggest to smallest, that's my next biggest side. So I'm going to do B next. So I'm going to do sine of angle B over 15. I mean, if you don't work biggest to smallest, real talk, I mean, probably 95% of the time you'd be just fine. But I have seen it glitch where your triangle's not in proportion if you don't. So I just always have that habit. Make sure you do sine inverse, of course. And I just rounded b to the whole unit. 40, got it. And no work needed really, right, for C? And C 25. Anybody miss chapter 5 yet? Okay, fine. All right, last thing I got for you, easy peasy. So we're going to talk about what's called Heron's area formula. We have done formula of area of a triangle since like 8th grade math, half base times height. Well, again, we talked about this the other day. You don't always have the height. So you'd have to draw it in. It has to be perpendicular. You have to use something to define it. It's a whole thing, okay? Well, there's other calculations you can use to find the areas. This is one of them. So if you know 3 sides, first calculation I'm going to do is this guy. So this is called the semi-perimeter. You add up the sides, divide by 2. That's easy. I just punch in my calculator, and then obviously this is the formula to get the area. So I'm going to do the red first. So find the area of the triangle. So let's do our semi-perimeter. So we're going to add 43, 53, 72, semi-perimeter. We're going to divide by 2. So that's first calculation. So punch that in. 84. Okay, so now I'm going to do the blue. I'm going to get the area. So I'm just replacing the S's with 84, and obviously I'm going to put the sides in. So here we go. Area, and it's just a pain to type in. 84. Okay, we're going to do 84 then to minus the first side. Now you could just mental math that and subtract them, I guess, if you wanted to, whatever. 84 minus the second side. 84 minus our third side, 72. And you can just straight type that into your calculator. I even rounded this to the whole unit. You get kind of a big answer, I think. It's easy, it's just obnoxious. All right, so let's round it, 1,132, and I'm going to throw a label on, we're in meters. Got it. And there we have it. That is the show today, okay? So again, I'm going to leave this up here while you're working on your homework. This is the exact, I just like took a screenshot of it and put it in here. The formula sheet you will get on the test. I don't know that you need law of sines, let's get serious. But you're going to have the law of cosines, this area formula with sine in it, that included angle, we did that 2 days ago, and then Huron's area formula at the very bottom, okay? Now, for your homework.